Hi everyone, I'm Felipe.
And I'm Lillian.
And we are the Postmodern family.
We are Americans living in the UK, reacting to Great Britain.
We make 5 reactions a week, so subscribe now.
Today we're going to react to an interview of Jordan Peterson on the Wright Stuff.
Look, he looks young. Yeah.
What do you understand by equality, Sophie? What does it mean to you?
Freedom.
Freedom.
Can you be more? Is it equality of opportunity? Is
How
it
daft.
equal pay across the board? Is it something more than that?
I think equality is better for everyone. I
Yeah,
think,
okay.
What is equality?
I'm really
Equality is
delighted,
better for everyone.
I love my job because it's an optimistic and a hopeful job, which is about creating more choices for people. I'm interested in people being able to have different choices and having equality of outcome.
Equality of
So,
outcome.
You're going to have choices and equality of outcome. What if people choose different things, which is what they've been doing in Scandinavia? So the Scandinavian countries have moved more towards gender equality than any other countries, and the personality differences in Scandinavia have increased rather than decreased, and the proportion of women who are choosing STEM fields has decreased rather than increased. So as cultures become more gender neutral, the number of women who choose STEM fields decreases.
What do you mean
not
by
increasing.
STEM fields?
So science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
STEM
So if
field.
you let
Men
Is that
and
like a
women
flower
make their
stem?
choices, what actually happens is that they specialize in different situations.
they
And you
not-
don't get equality of
Could they
outcome.
not have been programmed to have those views from the moment we raise them and give boys Lego and construction?
No,
girls?
because what happens is that as countries get more egalitarian, which means there's less programming of that sort, the differences get larger, not smaller. And the scientific data on that is clear, and most of it was generated by people who have a left-leaning bias, so you can't blame it on conservative scientists. It was a shock to everyone to find that out.
Sophie,
I
is it?
think,
So
I
hang
think the
on,
difference
sorry, I need to
between
pause.
No,
'cause
not the pausing.
We're pausing there because I have a question. So what is it that Scandinavia did to allow for these choices? What is he talking about?
He's saying that culturally they've moved towards more egalitarianism, which
Okay.
means I don't know if they
Freedom
have
of choice.
quotas. I don't know if they have quotas,
He's saying they don't, basically. They don't have quotas.
but
you have the choice.
But whatever barriers were previously in place, preventing
taken-
women,
yeah,
they've taken them out.
But then what they've seen, the result is more women choosing
of their own accord, choosing nursing, for example, or teaching. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I think the difference between Jordan and me is that we look at evidence and we lean towards different theories. So Jordan's theory is very much evolutionary, that there are inherent differences in men and women. Mine is very much more social role theory, if you like, and that men and women are taking on different roles due to the expectations that society puts on them. And it's interesting that Jordan frequently cites Scandinavian countries where they've made more, like there's nowhere in the world that women are equal, but Scandinavia has made the most progress towards shared
I
parenting.
want to stop. Are you sure?
Etc.
No pause.
That
So I'll just
said,
talk over her?
No.
It's not done yet. There's nowhere in the world where this is done yet.
But it's
So-
having the
so-
opposite effect that the gender equality types predicted. Opposite, not the same.
No, my
And it
point-
isn't a theory, it's actually data driven by tens of thousands of surveys and the best scientific literature on the topic. It's not a theory, and I didn't come about it because of my political perspective. I looked at the data. What it showed was that as countries become more egalitarian, the differences between men and women grow. They don't shrink.
So what I'm interested in is data and analysis as well.
Are
I'm
you?
particularly interested in the ones presented, such as the ones by the University of Southern California, which discovered that change towards gender equality is actually being slowed by beliefs that are legitimizing social inequalities on the basis of sex. And I'm also interested, I mean, like Jordan, I look at the data and I look at the studies, and I'm really also very much interested in studies like the analysis that was done by the American Psychological Society, which looked at 45 analysis of whether there's sex difference over 20 years. And its conclusion was that men and women are basically alike in terms of personality, in terms of cognitive ability, in terms of
him.
leadership.
He's gonna leave.
What it
He's like,
did
"I'm
find
done."
was that media depictions of men and women as fundamentally different perpetuate misconceptions, as does workplace bias.
Oh God, so it's my fault.
So No, well, you know, you're leaving soon at some point.
Men and women actually are more the same than they are different. But the issue is that small differences at the population level can turn into very large differences at the extreme. So, for example, men and women are broadly similar with regards to aggression, although men tilt a little bit more towards aggression. So that if you picked a random person out of the population, male and female, and you guessed that the male was more aggressive, you'd be right 60% of the time. But if you take the 1 in 100 most aggressive people, they're all male. And that's why the overwhelming proportion of people who are in prisons are male. Now, do you want to equalize that? Just out of curiosity? What about bricklayers? They're 99% male. And we've got about 3/4 of the population now in universities in the humanities and social sciences are female.
Yeah.
Are we going to equalize that? And men work longer hours. They work more dangerous jobs. They're more likely to move. They're more likely to work outside. They're more likely to participate in jobs in the STEM fields that are scalable. They make more money for those reasons. And that's all hidden under the idea that the reason that men and women make different amounts of money is because of their gender. It's a very simplistic analysis, and trying to address
I was just going to say, Sophie, can you come back on that?
What I'm trying to equalise is opportunity and choice.
Fine, let's
And
equalize.
She doesn't know what she's
Absolutely.
saying.
But we won't get equal outcome that way.
Neither does Wright.
Wright seems like a daft cow.
We've never done it.
We do know. We know what's happened in Scandinavia.
But it's not fully got there yet.
No, but it's going in the
They don't
opposite
get
direction
it.
that everyone predicted, and
You know,
strongly.
I think one of the things I loved about Jordan's book, which I speed read last night, so forgive me, Jordan, I've not read every line. But one of my favourite rules in Jordan's book is Rule 9, which says, assume the person you are listening to might know something you don't. And I think that in a country where men outnumber women by 2 to 1 in Parliament, in local government, where women's voices are not equally represented in media, where our education systems still are teaching boys and girls
Blah, blah, blah.
What I'm trying to do is work with thousands of optimistic, hopeful people for change.
Yeah.
You kept very quiet.
Look
through
at this
one.
guy.
I'm going to put you under a bit of pressure. Do forgive
So
me,
that's
I'm gonna
why
come to
she
the calls in a
said
moment.
he's leaving.
Your boss
She
called
was
the
like-
gender pay gap a burning injustice. Is it?
Yes, it is.
Who's this guy?
Because
Who knows? Looks like he's wearing a wig, though.
equality of opportunity. There needs
Look
to
at
be the
Jordan.
same
He's
rights.
like, who
But
are you?
Something that
Is that Harry
surprised me
Enfield?
that neither of you and equality.
Is that Paul Whitehouse?
All of that. But the one thing both of you haven't mentioned is the biological difference, which unfortunately affects women's career
Unfortunately.
prospects, whether we like
Babies
it
as
or
well,
not.
yeah.
Whether you like it or not.
And that does cause a problem. You know, if I were to take a sabbatical from a corporation for a while, it's going to set me back slightly. And it is a problem that biologically it's women who have babies, not men.
Sure, but that's why we are the...
What
the
year
Women's
was
Equality
this?
Party is
You
the
can't
only
say that anymore.
in the UK that's got policies around shared parental leave.
She's
We're
so
the only-
political.
She's
we're
so
the
political.
We're the only party that has got fully costed plans for universal free childcare.
She's running for office
What
or
we're
something.
saying is that
You're trying to
and
change the
we're trying to
outcomes.
change the outcomes, and also men are joining our party.
Cucks.
Men who are
I-
really
White
inspired.
knights.
You've
And I'm
got
sure I'm going to have a word with Michael because I am sure he'll want the application.
Okay,
We take joint
forgive me, I
membership.
want to take one call if
But-
you'll forgive me, because time is really short. I owe it to the viewers to
Look at
their
this.
views on this.
We've got Celine
Remember,
calling
she's the
from
same
Manchester.
person.
Yeah,
Good
she's
morning.
the same person.
Hi Matthew, how you doing?
I'm very well. I'm loving picking heaven
What did
today.
you say?
What do we think about equality? Will it ever happen, Celine?
I was going to say I thought it was going to happen, but after listening to Jordan, he's swayed my opinion.
Why did you think it was going to happen?
Because I think we're going to become more cognitive creatures.
More cognitive
and jobs are going to be more
creatures.
about mental skills.
Technology.
But then I've been visited schools, and I work in STEM. I'm a software developer, and the number of women doing software development hasn't increased. I would have thought they would have increased more, but I went into secondary school to do GCSE IT stuff, and there's very, very few girls
Very, very
doing
few
IT.
girls.
And I'm thinking, IT is the future, and why are
Birds.
and the schools are pushing for more girls to go into IT.
It's a
But
northern
there's
accent,
only,
right?
I visited about 8 schools.
Can I
and I
just,
thought-
sorry, Celine, can I just
Go on,
nick...
sorry.
Can I just go on to another caller?
30 seconds. Sophie's idea, actually, representations in the media could be affecting such choices.
Oh, my
Geeks, we see
goodness.
geeks, bespectacled blokes with bad hair on computers. That's what tech means, isn't it?
Yeah, and you're absolutely right, because I think actually that one of the other things we want to do is to have a look at curriculums, to have more female role models, to, you know, to encourage girls, because so long as we still see STEM as a boys' area that we're trying to get girls into, it's not going to work. We need to do the work we're doing on care, get more boys thinking about, you know, nursing, teaching, more boys in schools.
And
That's the way you break
games
it all
on
down.
programmes like EastEnders, The Archers, that's helped them a lot.
Right, so listen, I have to draw things to a conclusion. Can I just say how wonderful, 3 people, diverse political views, diverse views on many other issues, that get along famously and have wonderful conversations.
Look at Jordan.
That is exactly the ambition that I have for this show. So
That
Jordan,
must have
good luck
been-
with the book. It is out now.
Look
It's
at
12 rules
Look
for
at
life.
him. He's just
like,
he's just like, what did I just go through?
okay, I have several things to say, and hopefully I remember them all, because I wasn't allowed to pause.
I hate the pausing.
I think it's good, because
I hate the pausing.
us talking about certain things.
No, I just
Anyway,
hate the pausing.
so this woman, she said, when she was saying how there's not a female voice in every department.
But there's a show called The Voice, isn't there?
So you know what? It just made me think how you know how what is the term? The idea that you cannot represent someone else because you're not exactly that same person.
Yeah.
Right? So you cannot represent me because you're not a female. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, yeah.
And it just reminds me of the suffragette movement and the anti-suffragette movement, where the women were saying, we don't need a voice in the government. We don't need to vote.
We
for
already
ourselves
have a voice.
because we have a voice. Our husbands, our brothers, our fathers, our uncles. These are the men who represent us because they love and they care for these women. And so for her to say that just because there's not a woman representing that person's thought, female
in Parliament.
rights, that therefore women aren't represented. I thought that was a terrible misconception that most people believe today. I think most people do think, well, I guess you're right. You have to have a woman in every single meeting, in every single business, in every single company, in every single...
The irony of it all is that she keeps insisting that men and women are basically the same.
Yes.
So you can, on the one hand, say they're the same, therefore a man could represent a woman because they're basically the same. And on the other hand, say, wait a minute, we can't have men represent women because they're not women.
Exactly. She kept saying about this whole equality. You know, what is equality? And
it's equality of outcome.
Well, yeah, she said
I don't think
that.
she knows the words she's using. Because then she said equality of opportunity.
I don't know. Maybe that was a mistake on her part, you think? I think that... I mean, that was a bad... In case you guys don't know, equality of outcome is where you have a quota, right? So you have a list of, I need a female, I need Asians, I need blacks, I need all these, and all these different categories to fill your employees' quota. And that is equality of outcome, which is not a good thing because you should hire based on who is the best in skills. You know, it doesn't really matter if they're all female, if they're half female, if they're a diversity or not.
Yeah.
You want the skills. But anyway.
But it's like Jordan was just talking to a wall, basically.
Yeah.
He raised the Scandinavian study, and no one seemed to get it.
Mm-hmm.
They seemed to say, oh, Peterson is saying that Scandinavia has already created equality. That the results have not proven what we wanted to happen.
I think...
Because they didn't get the point that the trend has been more egalitarian in terms of policy and teaching and culture, but yet the roles being filled in the workforce has been going less and less egalitarian. So that means that one doesn't lead to the other.
I think they're in denial of that information. I think they think that it's only like that because, like he said, the training, their childhood, the way they were brought up.
But he's saying that the trend has been to decline that kind of training in their culture.
Yeah.
And yet the job allocation has increased in the traditional.
Yeah, I think that they're discounting that and they believe that you'll see more later. Maybe the data is too short term right now.
They could have made that point, but they didn't.
But that's what I think they're thinking.
Yeah.
But yeah, is it nature? Is it nurture? You know, I think that's the thing that the woman is. She says she basically doesn't believe in nature.
Unfortunately, women give birth to babies, and that affects the most important thing in life, career.
That's right. That's what you believe.
The Paul Whitehouse character. Yeah. That could have very well been Paul Whitehouse.
Yeah. I know. But the thing, I can't get over that. No, I understand him because he's a man, and that is his mindset.
What is his mindset?
His mindset is career, and so for him, if he was burdened to have children,
no, but that's again, you're falling into the trap that because he's a man, he can't understand a woman.
I'm saying that he is right to have that view because
about men, but not about women. That he just proved the woman's point in that he can't represent a woman.
That's right. He doesn't understand women.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, but and so that
he's taking it from his own perspective.
That's right. From her angle, men could never understand women, and therefore should never represent women, even though they're equal. Right. Even though they're the same.
I don't know. That man.
The host?
No. Well, apparently, I don't know why he left, but Jeremy Vine replaced him.
And what? And the show took off more or something?
I don't know if it's more or less.
We were on the Jeremy Vine show.
That's right. So we recognized that lady. I forgot her name already. Siobhan.
The Scottish woman.
Yeah. Right? I forgot her name. It was an interesting name.
She's a weather lady, right? She says the weather.
She says all sorts of things.
And she was wearing like the shortest skirt ever.
She's a nice looking 20-some-year-old that they have on the show to fill that card, check that box. Attractive young woman.
Doing the weather.
No, she doesn't do weather.
She does. She did the weather when we were there.
Okay, a snippet, but she does other things. Like
the weather's
she fields the callers. I think
she's the call girl. She's doing this. Not only does she do the weather like women always have done, but she also does the callers like women have always done. Thanks so much for watching this episode. We hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for everything you do. Thanks for a wonderful new year or a great year in 2020. And we hope you guys start off on the good foot in 2021.
Bye.
See ya.